Well, some of you I know, and some of you I don't, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Laura Sharp, artist for Trauma, and we are so grateful and excited to be here with Next Step Fitness. And we would also like to introduce you to Jenna from My Fit Foods. And today's workshop, let me tell you a little bit about Artists for Trauma. So what we do is we pair trauma survivors with artists, whether it's a one-on-one artist pairing or small group workshops. So what's so exciting about what we're doing here with Next Step Fitness is, in addition to your participating in your health and your recovery process by being as healthy as you possibly can, rebuilding your neural pathways, we bring in an exercising opportunity through art for your spirit and a way to process the challenges, the everyday challenges of recovery. All of us in this room know, as human beings, that we're whole body, mind, and spirit. And that oftentimes when our physicality is challenged, we're that much more in touch with the fact that we're human beings processing a lot of emotions through the challenges of our life. So we're a proponent of that we stay focused on the positivity and the possibilities and the health of our well-being. And that means the health of our physical being, our emotional well-being, and our spiritual well-being. And part of that is facilitated not only through exercise, but the way that you sculpt your energy through nutrition and what you feed your body, what you feed your mind, and what you feed your spirit. And that's why we're so excited to have Jenna from My Fit Foods. They are a local nutrition facility that is in very close proximity. And I, being a blessed survivor of a tragic helicopter crash 5.5 years ago, did not walk for almost 3 years. And I know to look at me today, for those of you who don't know my story just very briefly, 43 fractures, burns over 40% of my body. My eyeball was out of my head and my foot was hanging by a thread, and so I have a partial amputation. And as many of you are, I am also very excited to be a powerful testament to what is possible by staying in the process, by taking care of our bodies and our mind and our spirit, and that we never give up, no matter what. And so a part of this was healing through art and healing through nutrition. So I would, at this time, as we work on body balancing with food, as we sculpt our body and we sculpt our energy with nutrition, I'll turn the workshop over to Jenna from My Fit Foods.
Thank you. How much time do I have?
I'm sorry?
How much time do I have?
We have about 40 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you. Hello, I'm happy to be here today. Thank you for Next Step Fitness for inviting My Fit Foods over and Laura for setting this up. My name is Jenna. A little bit about myself. So my background is in nutritional science. I graduated from Berkeley last year with an undergraduate degree and did a lot of community nutrition. I could have gone the clinical route and done that, but I decided that I wanted to help people who wanted to help themselves. And usually at the clinic, they have to help themselves. And so it's a different kind of motivation. And so I wanted to stick to the community and help educate people on nutrition and healthy living. So that's what brought me to My Fit Foods. Has anyone tried My Fit Foods before or heard of My Fit? Okay, awesome. Great. So basically, for those who haven't been to My Fit Foods, what we do is we actually make all the meals there. So it's kind of like home-style cooking. We just portion it out so you know exactly how many grams of protein. You can watch your carbohydrate intake and how many calories you're consuming. And we package them in these BPA-free containers. And we do different sizes, small, medium, large, depending on how much you want to intake. And basically it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you need. And so we use all low glycemic carbs, lean proteins, healthy fats. And there are no additives nor preservatives in any of our foods. So, all right. So basically, do you guys know the 3 different types of nutrients, macronutrients?
No.
All right. Alright, so they're basically fats, carbs, and proteins. So, for an example, let's start with fats. So, do you guys think that fats are all bad?
No.
Alright, awesome, yes. This is gonna be easy. Okay, so yes, there are different types of fats. We definitely need fats because fats help us transport hormones, which keeps our body into balance and protects our organs, provide fluid in our tendons, things like that. And so fats are really important. There are just different types of fats that are good. So trans fats, of course, we always hear them in the news. Those are the type of fats that our bodies take a really long time to break down. So basically, as you get older and you start eating a lot more trans fats, those fats, because they take so long to break down, you actually store them. And the negative part of that is that once you have fat cells, you can never get rid of them. So, you know, the more fat and carbs and calories you consume, and if you're not expending them, then you're increasing the number of the fat cells and also the size. And that's what weight gain is. Once those fat cells are created, you can never get rid of them, and so through exercise and healthy eating, you can decrease the size so that you look thinner, but then you're always going to have those. And so that's why it's important to, you know, kind of every day go through and kind of monitor what you're eating. Things that have trans fats, do you guys know some examples?
Everything that's factual.
Yeah.
Margarines used to have a lot of trans fats.
Yes, yeah. Anything that is baked actually has trans fats. So your muffins, bagels, cakes, cookies, things like that. Yeah. And the thing is that you don't. The labeling laws actually allow trans fats in our foods up to 2%, and the companies don't have to report it. So you might not know that you're eating trans fats, but you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, so of course, that's not to say don't ever eat those things, but it's just in moderation once in a while. That'll help with the negative effects. All right, in terms of cooking oils, who here cooks? Alrighty. What kind of oil do you guys use to cook?
Coconut oil.
Grapeseed.
Coconut
Oh,
oil.
okay. Coconut oil, nice. Olive oil, okay. Sounds good. So I highly recommend using coconut oil as opposed to something like an olive oil. Olive oils are really good for you, however, their smoke point is lower. So when you cook with olive oil, actually, those molecules in the oil actually turn carcinogenic. And so they're good as salad dressings or to dip your bread in and things like that, but not to cook with. So coconut oil is great, grapeseed oil is good.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it true that coconut oil is a full protein chain, the only oil that has a full protein, complete protein molecule?
That I don't know. I'd have to check back.
Yeah,
with you.
okay, great. Fantastic. It is really delicious though, so
Yeah.
I'm really excited to learn this because even 30 years of taking care of my body and this sort of thing, I did not understand about olive oil, that once you cooked it, it became carcinogenic. I always thought, oh, olive oil, everything in olive oil. So
Right.
that's really huge.
All right. Alrighty. In terms of carbs, all right. Do you guys know what carbs are, or what makes up carbs? All the delicious stuff. What was that?
Tell us.
Toast. Yeah. Tell us. Okay. So basically, your pastas, rice, bread, vegetables, fruits are actually carbs. Sweet potatoes, your regular potatoes, things like that. Those are all carbs. So carbs are awesome because it's our brain's primary source of fuel. That's what we need to perform basic functions, things like that. However, we're starting to see that we're just having too many carbs, the timing of the carbs are off, and also the type of carbs that we're consuming. So we talked about the trans fats in the baked products. Also, baked products usually don't have a lot of dietary fiber, and so they're lower on the glycemic index, or they're higher on the glycemic index, and so it causes our blood sugar to spike way too rapidly, and that spike actually causes our body to store those sugars as fat. So, for example, what you have here, the parboiled rice, it kind of looks like white rice, but it's actually a brown rice that's pressure cooked, so that the sugars actually fall off and you don't consume the sugars. And that's important because that sugar will directly convert over to fat. So it's not necessarily high-fat diets or high-protein diets that cause you to gain weight, but it's actually related to the amount of carbs, the type of carbs, and then the timing of those carbs. So, for example, you guys have always heard, don't eat 3 hours before you go to sleep, right? That's not necessarily true. It's just don't eat carbs 3 hours right before you sleep. So like protein and vegetable, those are okay as late night snacks, but things like chips and popcorn, ice cream, things like that, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, right. So that also includes fruit. So fruit has natural sugars in it, that fructose. It actually bypasses some of your regulated enzymatic reactions that occur in your body, and so it actually spikes up your blood sugar even higher. But fruits are a great thing to eat, right? So we just recommend pairing it with the protein so that that spike isn't as high. And that's really the key. It's just regulating your blood sugar levels, which is why we recommend eating in smaller quantities more consistently throughout the day, so that as you start feeling hungry and your blood sugar starts dropping, you'll be eating again, so that throughout the day you'll maintain a nice, even energy balance, and then at night you're not craving carbs or wanting to overeat or things like that. Also, studies show that if you guys prepare your snacks or your meals beforehand, then you're less likely to find yourself in that compromising position where you just reach for the closest thing next to you. So if you can take a day out of your week to, cut up some apples or put together little Ziploc bags of vegetables and hummus or something like that, then it becomes a lot easier and more of a routine thing. All right, who here drinks coffee? All right, how much coffee are you drinking?
1 cup a day, 2 cups.
1 cup. Okay, sounds good. So 1 8-ounce cup a day is the threshold that we see. Anything more than that actually raises cortisol levels. So that caffeine molecule is very similar to the molecule of adrenaline, and so it's going to have the same impact. So say you have a 16-ounce cup of coffee, it's going to stimulate your body to go into fight or flight response, right? Which physiologically you're ready to run, jump, be active, but that's not always the case. And so what that ends up triggering is a rise in cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone that causes your body to retain fat and store it in your abdomen area because it's trying to protect your organs. It thinks that you're in danger. And so we recommend trying to cap it at 8 ounces. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about coffee because it's so delicious. But you'll see it a lot in America. Here is where a lot of the weight gain is, and that's because we're such a caffeinated nation. And so, yeah.
What can you do to reduce that?
Probably just limiting your caffeine intake. So 200 milligrams is the threshold. That's in your 8-ounce cup of coffee.
Once it's there, what can you do to reduce it?
Oh, I see. So that would have to do with, eating smaller quantities more consistently throughout the day. That's going to be a huge benefit that you can do just because your portion sizes will remain small, and then just increasing the amount of raw fruits and vegetables, things that with dietary fiber. If you eat like steel-cut oatmeal or something like that in the morning, then adding ground flaxseed or ground chia seeds to provide, again, extra fiber, because you kind of want to push things out. So,
What if you're eating nuts at night? That's a snack.
okay.
Is that good or bad?
That's fine. Yeah, just the thing with the nuts is that they're very high in saturated fats, and so you only want to have a handful a day. Yes. Anything more than that, you're going to start increasing the risk of cardiovascular disease. Yep. Something else that's really easy to do is actually, so this is what we call our MyFit cocktail. This is something easy that you can just add into your morning routine. It actually wakes you up a little bit so you don't feel the need to have as much caffeine. But basically it's going to be apple cider vinegar, B12, unsweetened cranberry juice, and lemon. Have any of you guys heard of apple cider vinegar?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So this is, I can't even believe this thing exists. It's like a miracle liquid. But basically, down here you can see some sediment. There's live probiotics and enzymes in here, so it's going to help with digestion. Again, the better you can break down your food and eliminate, then the less you're storing in your body. And it is acidic, but it's less acidic than the pH in your stomach, and so it actually helps increase the alkalinity of your body. The reason why that's important is we're starting to see, with all of the packaged food that we're eating, lots of caffeine, alcohol, artificial sugars, things like that, we're starting to see our bodies shift to a more alkaline state. And that leads to rise in cancers, just overall decline in health, things like that. So we want our bodies to go back to more alkaline, normal pH, and so that's going to, the apple cider vinegar is going to help with that. So the nice thing about that is that with your pH going back to balance, it actually helps increase oxygen flow. So getting oxygen to your muscles to give you more energy and also helping with digestion. The unsweetened cranberry juice is a natural way to scrape your intestines and get all the good stuff out. Although it's mild, so you might not feel large effects. And then the B12 is good for energy, and it has organic aloe vera in it, so that's going to help with detoxification.
Is that an everyday routine?
Yeah.
Okay, and what is the ratio of each component?
So I have these cards if you guys want to take them. It's basically 1 tablespoon of this, an ounce of this, up to 4 ounces of the unsweetened cranberry juice, and half a lemon. Lemon is awesome because it actually helps break down your fats. So it's going to thin out your bile, which is what your body uses to gather all your fat molecules together and then take them to your intestines to be digested. Again, we want to properly digest our fats so that our hormones are in balance and things like that.
Is it okay when you're drinking something like that, particularly with the cranberry juice, because I drink like the raw cranberry juice every day, and it's just like, it's so hard to swallow that I usually mix it with like blueberry or cherry or something. But if with something like that, is it okay to add like agave or something to make it easier to?
Yeah, agave is great. You can use a little bit of stevia.
Okay.
It doesn't taste so good, which is why we kind of put these together. The lemon will help neutralize the vinegar taste a little bit, and then the B12 is sweeter, and so it kind of helps with that. Yeah, but agave is great, like a tablespoon of that, with stevia or raw.
Apple cider, I just do a shot of it every morning.
You are a champ.
It's disgusting. It's pretty bad.
I know somebody who eats raw garlic cloves every morning.
Yeah, I just do a shot and then chase it with water.
Wow. Okay.
But I recommend apple cider vinegar for sure.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know what foods would help rebuild myelin?
Rebuild
Myelin for your nerves?
myelin. Are you talking about like the synapse?
Yeah.
Myelin? That is a good question.
If I may share, I found very, very helpful was to rebuild the complete cell structure and the protein very, very well through amino acid supplementation. So when Jenna is finished, I'll share with you some items that are in everyone's swag bags as free consultation with an integrative nutritionist. Her name is Jolanta Sierra from Miss Nutrition, and she works with MyFit Foods as well. And so integrative nutrition, which is a big proponent and on the basis of, I believe, what you create your meal planning on, is understanding, of course, all the components for a healthy diet and the way that food breaks down. But also integrative nutrition is based on the individual and the whole body, mind, and spirit. So each person's constitution is somewhat different. So it's very helpful with nutrition counseling so you can adapt your diet, your eating habits in a way that will help optimize your digestion, because being that we're human beings, what we take in, it's so important that it process out in a healthy way. You know, elimination is very important, and that is what helps minimize toxicity in our body. So amino acids is very, very helpful for me. And, you know, being that I understand very much that we're all rebuilding our entire functioning system, I find it very helpful if you just take it down to the cellular level by what you're feeding the cell, hydration, building that protein molecule. And amino acids are very helpful.
I came in late. What were you saying about olive oils?
We don't recommend cooking with olive oil because the smoke point for olive oil is lower than the other types of oils. And so when you heat it up to a certain point, then those molecules turn carcinogenic in your body. Yeah. So the oils turn rancid, actually.
Cook my salmon in olive oil all the time.
Yeah. Grapeseed oil is really good. There's mild taste to it. You can't really taste the difference. Coconut oil is great. That one you can taste a little bit of a coconutty, like a nutty flavor to it. Yeah. But those two are easy replacements to olive oil. Yeah. And olive oil is a great source of fats, just not cooked. So to dip your bread in or as salad dressing, something like that.
How about peanut oil? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep. At MyFit, we use macadamia nut oil. That actually has the highest omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. And so you're going to get more of your essential fatty acids. But macadamia nut oil is actually $100 a gallon. So, yeah, you're definitely not on the oils. All right. Going back to amino acids, so a complete, all your meats have all of the amino acids that your essential amino acids that your body can't make on its own. But for vegetarian, is there any vegetarians in here?
Joe.
Okay. All right. So for vegetarians, in order to get all of the essential amino acids that their body needs for muscle rebuilding, cell repair, things like that, beans and rice, eating those in combination with each other will give you all 21.
Any type of bean or?
Yeah.
And a pop
Yeah.
bean.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Any type of rice too?
With the rice, you'd ideally want to use like a brown rice or a parboiled rice. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. You guys don't drink alcohol, right? No one in here,
Come
right?
on,
That's
guys.
why. I mean.
Come on. Let's be real.
Alright. Have you guys ever wondered, is there a difference? Does alcohol affect you differently if you drink a certain type or not?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple little hints, but don't go too overboard, okay? I'm sorry. Alright, so wines, red or white?
Red.
Red, awesome. So the reason why red is healthier is they leave the outside of the grape and the seeds during the fermentation process, so it has a little bit more fiber and a little bit more nutrients. So that's where the resveratrol comes from, that age-defying antioxidant. That's where it's coming from. White, it's like shooting up your blood sugar with sugar. You don't want to do that. So if you had to choose, always go red. Beer is made from wheat, things like that, so you tend to store a lot more of it. Not the best option.
No fat in beer either, though.
What was that?
No fat in beer.
That's true, but actually, fat doesn't lead to fat gain. Remember? Unless it's trans fats. But it's going to be those carbs that cause you to gain weight. Yeah, which is why alcohol is so easy to gain weight when you're drinking, because those are all just empty carbs. Yep. Things like vodka made from potatoes, so your body actually stores a lot more of that. So if you had to choose tequila, although you're going to have a crazy night, tequila or gin. Gin.
What about vodka made from rye?
Rye is one of those grainy ones, so again, you're gonna score a lot more of that. But I would take the rye over the vodka potato ones.
Okay.
All right. Anybody here drink Diet Coke? Awesome.
Occasionally.
Okay, great. Should I just skip that part?
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's really
Bravo for
Just
you.
gone, just in case there's not hitters in there.
Right,
I'm down to
Go ahead and tell
when I
us
go to the
about
movies,
it.
it's
Okay.
one cup every 2 weeks.
Okay, sounds good. So that artificial sugar is actually a neurotoxin. So it causes ADD, ADHD-like symptoms. If you ever, as adults, we're not as sensitive to it, so you can't really tell too much. But if you give it to a child, you can see the immediate differences. Another thing that artificial sugars do is it actually causes you to crave sweet things or overeat. So your taste buds, artificial sugars are like 500 to 600 times sweeter than regular sugar. So your taste buds taste the sweetness, sends a signal up to your brain saying that you've ingested a massive amount of calories, and it sends enzymes out in your stomach to break those down, but your body doesn't recognize them, right? So they just pass through. Yeah, you get no calories, but the downside of that is that you have enzymes in your stomach that aren't doing anything, and so it's going to send a signal up to your brain saying that you're deficient in calories, and so you'll tend to overeat. That's when the nighttime snacking comes in, things like that. So if you're really craving Coke or something like that, then it's better to just drink the one with corn syrup in it as opposed to the artificial.
Jenna, what about stevia?
Stevia is a natural sweetener, and so it does provide a little bit of calories, but it's a lot better than the artificial, yeah. Yep. All right.
What about caffeine in general?
In terms of
Drinking it. Now, you know, people that drink Coke's got caffeine in it. What will that do?
so
Or not do for it?
as long as it doesn't have more, as long as you're not ingesting more than 200 milligrams.
Okay, so 200 milligrams is the threshold for caffeine.
Right, right.
One more time you're out.
I'm trying to record this and it's damn.
All right. Do you guys have any questions about anything?
200 milligrams.
What did you say about caffeine each day? I know you said 8 ounces of coffee a day, but what was the amount of caffeine?
200 milligrams.
Well, I think, Jenna, you are preparing a delicious example of one of your MyFit foods. And so we're very excited about that. We would like to allow anyone who is interested the opportunity to either eat it here. Otherwise, we are going to make some little to-go, take-home packages. And so we're very excited about that, the opportunity to taste their delicious food. Also, so exciting for the individual who's on the go to know that you have an option for healthy, nutritious fast food. Very helpful for those of you who have caregivers and that sort of thing. It just gives everybody a break. It's delicious, it's nutritious, and relatively guilt-free.
Yeah.
Right? We like that. We love that. And why don't I share what's in the goodie bag for everybody, and then I can help you pass out samples.
Okay.
Does that sound good? So Jenna, thank you so
Yeah.
much. You were really great. Very good. Fantastic. So inside